On the next episode of Playtime, I will finally reveal the date that these MIB plushies go on pre-order. To make sure you are among the first to have an opportunity to pre-order your MIB plushie, please sign up for the mailing list. There is a link in the description right below the sponsor link. Sign up right away. You will be among the first to be able to pre-order an MIB plushie. Please sign up for the email list, and I'll see you in the next Playtime. Hey, this video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Securico. You're invited to experience Japan from the comfort of your own home through these amazing snack boxes. Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop Japanese snack subscription box. This month's theme is Osaka Snack Nation, celebrating Dotonbori, one of Japan's most iconic entertainment areas. Look at all this. You get up to 20 of the latest, most exclusive, limited edition and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks that are only available in Japan. Like this Lifeguard soft candy, a chewy candy rope flavored like an electric yellow Japanese energy drink. Here's a booklet to tell you all about it and let you know what you got in the box, as well as any relevant allergen information and a wealth of information about Japanese culture. Securico is another monthly box, and this one supports local Japanese snack makers with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including teas and this Japanese tableware. And this afternoon snack time lemon pie, let the zesty aroma transport you to sunny groves with every bite. Get your own box of either, or get it as a really neat gift for someone you know. Check out their special promotion using the link in this video's description. You know I import a lot of things from Japan, and if you want an excellent sampling of all their yummy snacks, these boxes are the way to go. Growing up, I've always had a fascination with comic books that were direct adaptations of major motion pictures. For one, you could immediately spoil the movie, but also because like novel adaptations, comic book adaptations would sometimes feature stuff cut from the movie. Like I remember the original Marvel Comics adaptation of the first Star Wars movie had that scene with Jabba the Hutt, and this was Jabba. In 1993, Topps Comics did a 4-issue miniseries that adapted the original Jurassic Park movie. All in all, it was a pretty faithful adaptation. Dr. Alan Grant went from Sam Neill to generic, dashing comic book male. Anyway, like I said, it is a mostly faithful— Whoa! Get some, Alan! In the movie, Dr. Grant's relationship with Dr. Sattler is somewhat vague. It appears platonic, but you get a sense that there might be more there, at least on Grant's side. But the original plan was to show a clearer romance, and that's what made it into the comic book. But even with this context, this is so strange to look at. I feel like they didn't pace out these issues right. Issue 3 ends in the middle of the first T-Rex attack, which means issue 4 has to rush through the entire rest of the movie. Look, in the comic, Muldoon says, "2 of you, clever girls," before this raptor just tears his face off. So another fascinating thing that was common in my childhood is the comic books continuing the stories of the movie. A comic book sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, comic books with Luke Skywalker made right after the first Star Wars film, and right after their movie adaptation, Topps kept the Jurassic Park story going with comic book continuations. The first official continuation was the 2-issue miniseries called Raptor. It picks up just 3 days after the movie. Grant and Sattler are back on the island, helping InGen round up the T-Rex that saved their lives in the movie. Grant points out how all the dinosaurs were breeding, so he insists they need to find the raptor eggs. But this head honcho paleontologist, Dr. Fisher, just kinda patronizes them. Everyone else is back in the States. Malcolm's in a hospital, Hammond took Tim and Lex to his estate. Somehow it falls on Grant and Sattler to find all the raptors themselves. Regardless, there's always time to do a little tongue wrestling before a raptor hunt. This will never not be weird, but kudos to Topps for sticking to the they can't keep their hands off each other characterizations. Sattler even gets upset that Grant wants to search a beach cave while she's feeling all romantic. They explore the cave and suddenly meet George Lawala, a big game hunter commissioned to capture some dinos on his own. He didn't intend to be seen, so he starts chasing the two in the cave with the intention to kill them. But on their run, Grant and Sattler find the raptors, and they've been eaten. Is that Muldoon? It's kind of hard to tell what's happening for a bit. It looks like a raptor knocks Lawala's gun while Grant pushes a rock to block the raptors in the tunnel. Regardless, everyone gets out, and Lawala is able to shoot a raptor that was chasing him. He mercy kills it because his employers only want healthy dinosaurs. Having escaped, Grant and Sattler decide to go back so Loala doesn't get any dinosaurs off the island, but he gets the jump on them, and there's a kerfuffle. Sattler gets kicked in the face, so that's something that happens. They both get punched and knocked out, and these 2 pages have more violence than the entire first movie did. Loala captures raptors and Grant and Sattler, and he locks them in cages on a ship. Alan says the raptors are discussing them, which I totally believe. Did you see that blonde get kicked and punched? Yeah, that guy kicked both their asses. Remember that shocking moment in the movie where we learned that raptors could open doors? Well, here's that moment, but instead they could use their nails to start picking a lock. What's next? A raptor using a keypad and facial recognition to infiltrate the CIA? Loala gasses everybody and then loads them on a cargo plane. Word gets out that the doctors are missing, and it gets back to Ian Malcolm, who's in a hospital, still making sure every other word he says is chaos. When Grant and Sattler wake up, the raptors are already out of their cages, clawing at them. Then the raptors piss off and go for the plane crew. Loala shoots one in the goddamn face. Then he frees the scientists and gives them guns to help him. But just a little later, one raptor kills Loala and the pilot. Sattler finds a raptor injured and nurses it. Alan traps the others in a crate and lets the crate drop from the plane. But who's flying the plane? It loses control, and there goes Grant professing his love to Sattler decades before Jurassic World Dominion, and the miniseries is over. Or to be continued, rather, into another miniseries called Raptors Attack, and this one's 4 issues. So, let's see where this is all going. First page, and the plane crashes. Another thing Topps did before Dominion. But unlike in Dominion, these guys are actually badly hurt because they were in, a plane crash. Grant wakes up in some facility where he meets Raphael. Sattler joins them, and they see that Raphael's got the surviving raptors in a cage. See, they're now in a Colombian jungle, and Raphael is a wanted criminal who plans to train the raptors he found to be like guard dogs. And I want to remind you that this is still just days after what happened in the first Jurassic Park story. You got some bad luck, Alan Grant. Raphael also shows them the injured raptor, the one Sattler helped. Raphael puts electric training collars on the raptors, and they get shocked for the next 4 pages straight. That is not a joke. Days go by and the raptor training continues, and this is another thing that happened in the comics decades before Jurassic World. A search team is spotted in the woods, so Raphael sends his raptors after them, and it all goes to plan. But when the raptors turn to Raphael, he does the old Owen hand-out trick, and it works! Is the entire Jurassic World trilogy just made up of elements from these comics? If the next issue is about locusts, I'm gonna be very upset. Dashing Grant and sexy Sattler sneak out, and when a raptor chases them, they swing from vines like Mutt Williams and Crystal Skull. Alan falls, but as he's about to get his face chewed like bubblegum, Raphael stops the raptor. Also, it turns out Grant and Sattler named the raptors. The alpha male is Alf, the beta female is Betty, and the injured one is Celia. Raphael forces them to care for Celia, but instead they give her a little show. You like that, Celia? You like to watch? Then this security guard, and I'm not joking, makes a comment that they're all cut off where they are, and they could just drug Sattler to, quote, get her in the mood. Even Raphael is like, whoa, too far for a Jurassic Park story, and he shoots the guy right there. Malcolm is finally up and about, and he's trying to find out where his friends are, narrowing it to the Colombian jungle, and then it's revealed that Muldoon is alive? Hell, the raptors tried, but I'd raise them. I knew their hunting tricks, and that's the explanation. What in the somehow Palpatine returned bullshit is that? At least have him return with a mangled face after that shit that went down in the other comic. At this point, he should look like the girl from Nope. Weeks go by. Grant and Sattler remain prisoners for weeks. Celia's training isn't going so well, so Raphael has her locked away again. Meanwhile, in Puerto Marinada, authorities announce new charges for Raphael, but as they're doing this, a truck pulls up and the fucking raptors attack. This isn't even Jurassic Park anymore. This is Dinosaurs Attack now. It's a bloodbath. But then some power lines interfere with the shock collars and the raptors fuck off with Raphael in pursuit. They run back to Grant and Sattler, but just as Raphael catches up, well, the raptors kill him dead. And there's still 2 more issues. And I know I'm not spotlighting all the covers, but can we pay some respect to this batshit crazy cover with Sattler riding a raptor? The raptors are loose and they hunt this cheetah and they fucking kill it, of course, until there's nothing left but a head and a puddle. At Civilization, Malcolm and Muldoon catch up to Grant and Sattler. Muldoon's like, I don't know why everyone thought I was dead. Because this panel, dude. This panel right here. But he explains that him and the raptors were all too smart to get caught. He thinks he's a clever boy. Then Malcolm goes on about chaos theory for an entire page. And I'll give them this. He's acting more like Malcolm in this comic than he did in the Lost World. In the jungle, the raptors run into a tribe who shoot them with arrows. Also, everyone's sneezing all of a sudden. Muldoon reveals that that guy, Lawala, was his blood brother. And oh yeah, we still don't know who hired Lawala to take the raptors in the first place. The tribe captures all the raptors, and then they do some type of ritual with them because they think the raptors are God, because this is Primal Rage now. And when the raptors awake, they follow the commands of the tribe. Nah, I'm kidding, they slaughter them all. This series is going off the rails. But Sattler never rode that raptor. Well, now our stars are in the jungle looking for the raptors, but Muldoon wants to kill them, while the scientists think they'll somehow save them. The raptors find a cave and remember when they were young and their mother warned them of the hairless apes coming to take them away. Muldoon shares his memories of Lawala, and it only matters because Lawala saved Muldoon's life once, so Muldoon wants to avenge him by killing the raptors. And Ian, he just wants to get in Sattler's pants, like really bad. They spot the raptors on the other side of this bridge, but as Muldoon is about to take a shot, more of the tribe attack and they capture him. The raptors cross the bridge and circle Sattler, and they may or may not attack her, but before any of that can happen, Alan Grant shoots Betty dead right there. The other two raptors go back across the bridge and then chew the rope so no one could follow them. And the story ends. Right there, that's the end of the story. Except for the next month when another 4-issue miniseries continues the story, and this one is called Raptors Hijack. So these three are sort of the Topps Raptor trilogy, and the third one starts the moment after the previous story ended, with the two surviving raptors still running. And now our heroes are searching by helicopter, but they see the raptors battling a gorilla, which is weird because there are no gorillas in South America. And you knew that, right? You totally knew that. So they land the helicopter. There's someone else watching the raptors as well. But for the first time in this trilogy, the action cuts to Injun, where we actually see John Hammond. And he thinks Bison is once again involved with the dinosaur theft, and he wants to spare no expense in his revenge. The raptors fight the gorilla again while Sattler's stuck in a tree, and they kill the gorilla, and then run into that woman who does sign language that they understand. Actually, so she studies gorillas and brought one to South America to study outside of its habitat, and she's working for, wait for it, Bison, which, by the way, an Injun military team blows up a Bison facility on Hammond's orders, and the Bison head, Bill Steingarten, calls up Hammond all pissed off, and Hammond's just like, that's the game, player. Fuck, man. Meanwhile, the raptor whisperer, Dr. Belvedere, realizes Celia is carrying eggs, and the raptors make a nest. Looking to retaliate, Bison sends a helicopter to kill Grant and his friends, so Muldoon shoots the helicopter down. This is now a full-blown Jurassic Park video game at this point. Two people survive the crash, but no problem, Muldoon just hunts them and murders them. Dr. Fisher just pops up and tells Dr. Belvedere that Bison is making their own Jurassic Park. Fisher felt like Injun pushed them out, so he went to work for Bison. Meanwhile, Malcolm's coming down with a fever and he's all delirious. But then a jaguar attacks him. Muldoon kills the jaguar like he kills everything. They find villagers willing to treat Malcolm, but Sattler decides to stay with Malcolm, who suddenly has a full-page hallucination. Hammond's people tell him that Muldoon's radio communications have stopped, so Hammond tells him to send a rescue team, and he says the thing! There it is! He said it! Anyway, Bison blows up the rescue helicopter with a bazooka. What's the death count at now? Another Injun copter arrives, but gets attacked by another Bison copter, and they collide, forcing Grant and Muldoon to jump off a cliff into the water below. Finally, the conclusion of the whole story. You'll believe a raptor can die. No, I believe it. I've seen it several times already, dude. I believe it. Also, just a quick spoiler, no raptors will die in this story. The raptor eggs hatch and Fisher pulls Belvedere away from them. They built walls in the jungle around the raptors, so this is Jurassic Park now, it seems. Then apparently both Grant and Malcolm have the same dream about Sattler and Malcolm hooking up. And soon, the dream becomes real. Yeah, that's Ian Malcolm making out with Ellie Sattler, just like you wrote in your fan fictions. And although Sattler admits she was curious about kissing Malcolm, she's now sure that it's Grant she wants. Sattler and Malcolm leave to find Grant, but they run into the raptor compound, and Dr. Fisher comes driving at them. But it turns out Alf and Celia escaped the compound by burrowing under the wall, and they wreck the Jeep, and they kill Dr. Fisher. Dr. Belvedere tries to do her peace sign again, but they slash her too, although she seems to maybe survive. But instead of killing Sattler, the raptors look at their babies pop up from the tunnel, and they all just leave. So we're basically right back to where we were when this miniseries started, only now there are more raptors. But there's an epilogue in Venezuela where the four are just like, fuck it, let the raptors live in the jungle. God bless us, everyone. And that concludes the Topps Jurassic Park sequel, The Raptor Trilogy. From 1995 to 1996, Topps ran a 9-issue series called Return to Jurassic Park. And this story feels a bit more like a true sequel to the original story. Because what we read today has been 10 issues of nothing but raptors, except for a little bit of Rexy at the beginning. Like, imagine if the movie sequel to Jurassic Park, The Lost World, was 98% raptors, and you didn't really see any other dinosaurs. It's a little too much of a good thing. Speaking of The Lost World, that movie also got an adaptation from Topps in 1997, and it was pretty faithful to the movie, except they gave Ian Malcolm a porn stash. Every panel I see him with this mustache, I can't take it seriously. That's a full-blown Tom Selleck. Anyway, same ending. Hammond says humans should step aside and trust nature. This isn't nature, dude! Most of these dinosaurs didn't coexist. They don't know what the fuck they're looking at. That is one bastardized ecosystem, you prick. But I digress. If you'd like to see me cover Return to Jurassic Park one day, then let me know in the comments, and let me know what you thought of the Raptor Trilogy. Was it a worthy sequel? Keep the conversation going below. Until next time.